What's up everyone? It's spring and it's time to mow the lawn, but the lawnmower isn't ready, so let's tune it up. The first thing I want to do is get a new spark plug for it. So let's pull the old one out and see what it is. Okay, let's go ahead and unscrew that. And it looks like this Honda mower uses an NGK BPR 5ES. Let's see if the store has one. Next, let's check the oil. Let's look around a little bit. It looks like it takes 10W30. Okay, got some new gas, got a new spark plug from the store, some carburetor cleaner, have some new oil, and then also I want to take that blade off and sharpen it with a grinder, so I got a couple tools for that. First thing, spark plug. Let's check that gap. Looks like the gap is at 0.033 inches. Needs to be a little bit less than that. You can tap the spark plug on the ground to close the gap carefully, and then you can carefully pry it back open. So I just set it to 0.028 here with the little gauge. Let's put a little bit of anti-seize on the spark plug so it doesn't get stuck. And also tighten that electrode so it doesn't loosen up on you. And go ahead and install it into the engine. Nice and tight. Okay, next thing, let's get that oil fill cap off. And this lawnmower doesn't actually have a drain plug, so you just tip it over and dump the oil out. I kind of like that. It's pretty cool. Let's just leave it here for a few minutes, let all the oil drain out. Put some new 10W30 in there. This mower takes half a quart. Next thing, let's get that pull cord and the gas tank off of there. I want to get all the old gas out of this mower. It's been sitting all winter. It's probably bad. Let's pull that fuel hose off. Dump all that old gas out of there. And I'm going to clean it a little bit with the carburetor cleaner. Okay, next thing, take off the air filter. And this part's kind of hard. There's a lot of little pieces. So let's take the air cleaner and the carburetor off. First thing, take that fuel hose off the carburetor. Next, there's a little throttle linkage. Pull it at a right angle, it'll come out. There's also a little spring, so just be careful with these parts, don't lose them. Next thing, we're going to use a 10mm wrench and some carburetor cleaner. I want to get all the old gas out of this carburetor. It's been sitting all winter. It could be gummed up, it could be bad. Next thing I want to do is make sure that float is down so the inlet valve is open. That way when I spray carburetor cleaner, it goes all the way through the carburetor. And next I just want to spray the whole carburetor, get everything nice and clean. Get it into the jet, get it on the outside. Just clean everything. Put the float bowl back on. Let's go ahead and tighten that. I'm going to put just a little bit of light oil. I'm using some Tri-Flow on the outside of the carburetor just because that carburetor cleaner really dries stuff out, so I want just a little bit of lube right there. We want to make sure we assemble all the gaskets and everything correctly. This is a little tricky. Insert the throttle cable at a right angle, as well as the spring. And we're going to connect that fuel hose. This is the part that sucks the most. And then carburetor. And that goes, let's just stack everything onto this carburetor. Right there, there, and right there. All this has to go on, and then this part is the choke. So it has to interface here. So when you're all together, you have the throttle here, and then you have the choke right here. Alright, next we're going to assemble everything again with the air box. So we make sure everything is correct and tighten those bolts down. And if that air filter is dirty, go ahead and clean it out or put a new one in. Next we'll just put that fuel tank back on, hook up the fuel line. and put that pull cord back on there, make sure it works. Okay, next we're going to pull that blade off. This one takes a 14mm socket. And I'm going to clamp it to the deck, and then you carefully use an angle grinder to make it sharp. Just use your finger and you can tell if it's sharp or not. Now we're going to go ahead and put that blade back on. Make sure this is very tight so it doesn't fall off. No need to go crazy here, but it does need to be snug. Also get some brand new gas. Don't just use something that's been sitting in the garage all winter. Make sure you get fresh gas from the gas station.
Make sure the fuel is on, and the choke is on.
Okay, now fire up that mower and mow your lawn.